Afternoon. Thanks, Elena. Um, for that wonderful introduction and presentation. I mean, we, you've actually set the ground rolling, and I will pick it up from there. So we're looking at senior management certification regime, and the core is about financial crime and conduct risks. And what is the role of audits, risks, as well as the assurance function in ensuring we have a safe financial crime environment. I mean, in order to support an environment that is safe of any financial crime and conduct risks. Please, next slide. So, I started by saying, next slide to the first time slide majorly. So let's look at what is the overview of financial crime in Nigeria as well as the African region in general. What exactly is financial crime? If we look at the financial crime that has happened, it has not happened without the intervention of the financial industries, of the banks, of the all payment services industry. So in this case, financial crime, it's all about illegal activities and unethical behavior that are carried out by the financial sectors. Yes, the emphasis is on the financial sector because that is the avenue where all the financial services are carried out. And that is why we say more emphasis should be, focused on the financial services sector. So it encompasses a wide range of activities when you talk about financial crime. If you look at money laundering, fraud, bribery, insider trading, and in my days as an equity trader, there's what we call triangular trading. You need to understand this aspect, which is an aspect of financial crime or conduct risks as the case may be. So, next slide. So financial crime, it's all about unethical behaviors that is perpetrated by individuals within the financial industry. The conduct risks, on the other hand, relates to the behaviors as well as actions of individuals within the financial industry itself. It refers to the risks of misconduct. Thank you, Helena, again for saying, looking at the behavioral aspect of it. It talks about the behavior, unethical behavior by the employees. Emphasis can be placed on rules and regulations, but if the employees that are meant to be, checks and balances, if they are not focused on to understand their behavioral attitude towards the financial crime, then we cannot achieve a lot of success. So actions such as mis-selling, how in this industry today, in the world today, products are sold to people that do not really understand what they are buying. When you talk about financial derivatives, when you talk about, buying a product in order to edge your, position, some of these clients do not understand what they are buying into. Most of these industries do not even carry out a risk analysis, risk assessment to ensure that they understand the nature of their clients. So, but financial crime and conduct risk pose significant risk to the stability, integrity, and trustworthiness of the financial system, especially even to a country. Even, there are various researches that have shown that the success of any organization depends on the success, on how vibrant the financial market and capital market is. For example, let's take a country like Nigeria, our darling Nigeria. The case has been the financial crime are growing because of and this has led to instability of the Nigerian economy. If this threats are not identified, if these conduct risks are not addressed, then the economy can never be stable. And that's why we say, what is the role of the auditors? What is the role of the regulators in ensuring we have a stable, an environment that is free of financial crime? Please, next slide. So that's why we then look at the regulatory framework within Nigeria and Africa. This regulatory framework are what we are all aware of. Next slide, when you look at the anti-money laundering rule in terms of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of 2001 in Nigeria that established the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. It prohibits and criminalizes money laundering within the country as well as whatever you're trading with, and make provisions for the prevention and detection, investigation and prosecution of money laundering offenders within the country. Please, next slide. So you also look at the Terrorism Prevention Act. You look at the, know your client, requirement, CBN rules that establishes how you identify and onboard your clients. The Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit is an offshoot of the Terrorism Prevention Act of 2011. These are frameworks that enables us to prevent the activities around financial crime and ensure that activities or transactions are carried along in line with ethical behavior. So that is why anti-money laundering, onboarding of clients is very, very key. You need to know the client you're bringing on board. You must adhere to all the requirements as stipulated in the regulation. We know all this. And the CBN is also key. Apart from the onboarding, it talks about the continuous due diligence. It talks about ongoing due diligence, continuous due diligence, and enhanced due diligence. It talks about the risk, profiling of the client. When you have high-risk clients, the PEPs, the high-risk industry, you need to stay close to them and understand them. These are some of the regulatory frameworks that have been set up both within the Nigeria and African region in general. Please, next slide. So, next slide. Still within the Africa region, we have various financial intelligence units, that are established across different jurisdictions in Africa that criminalizes, money laundering. And that's why the regulatory framework of financial crime varies across various countries and regions. But the key aspect has to do with the anti-money laundering. It has to do with terrorism prevention, and it has to do with financial intelligence units. So various legislative framework have been established across African countries. And for us to carry out proper review, auditors must understand this framework that regulates these various industries. Please, next slide. Moving ahead, please, let's please move ahead to the what are the various frameworks that are established to ensure that we prevent financial crime. Please, next slide. So this will talk about what are the ring fencing measures in financial crime. If we move to the next slide, it talks about one, segregation of duties. It's very, very key. You need to segregate the duties among your functions, among your employees. These are very, very key to ensure that somebody does not initiate a transaction up to the end. Because if there is if there's any intention to commit financial crime, if these ring fencing measures are not in place, please, next slide. If these ring fencing measures are not in place, then there is no way we can prevent terrorism financing as well as money laundering. You talk about client segregation. Every business must rank their client, especially in the investment banking parlance. You must know the risk profile of your client. Where your client is aged and cannot, be involved in high-risk transactions, you need to understand them. Where the clients, you need to understand their source of income. Their source of finance is very, very key for us to determine how, financially, or whether the transactions they are carrying out is in line with their sources of income. Risk-based approach, as well as if we go down to the next slide, it talks about data science and data analysis. You must use a lot of data science and data analysis in interpreting and predicting the nature of the client's transaction. Those things we did when the place at work now is to write some scripts and codes that can read, that can use averages and means to detect where a client has been doing a transaction that is outside what he has done in the last, a month or 4 or 5 transactions. That is a pointer in itself. It talks about this suspicious transaction that are guided by the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit. If you don't do this, transactions will technically have gone before you being aware. Your internal control framework must be very, very strong, as well as regulatory oversight. Technology and analytics is very, very key. We have gone beyond the days of whereby we use manual processing. Transactions are done on mobiles and phones, and there are millions. Data sets are very, very big. So you cannot be using samples. Using data analysis and data science is very, very key. The data science will allow you to predict into the future, and I'll talk about it in the next slide. And in term management, if you don't look at these areas, then we are exposed in general. Ring fencing refers to the process of creating a clear separation and set of between the various activities, and I've talked about it, especially in investment banking. We need to separate our retail arm to the investment banking. The core aspect of the business must be separated from the retail arm. Please, next slide. So let's talk about the role of audit in a second. Please, next slide. The role of audit is very, very key. First of all, you need to do a proper risk assessment. Audit have to move away from what is called the policeman theory. There are three theories that establish internal audit: the policeman theory, the lending credibility theory, and the inspired confidence theory. What we do is more of the policeman theory. What done? That's the 1920s and 1940s. Businesses have gone beyond that, where audit comes after 3 months, after a year, to comment, oh, what have you done in the last 1 year? It's not very, but now businesses have moved to what is called inspired confidence theory and lending credibility theory, whereby investors place reliance on auditors' report and see how the business activities are going. So auditors must move from the back end and come to the front end. It does not affect our independence at any point in time. And that takes me to what is called the combined assurance framework. Audit must come to that boardroom where that decision is taken. You challenge that decision, that if you go this way, this is the tendency we are going to, this is where we are going to end. So it's now left management to take it, but the advice has been taken from that particular point. You don't have to wait till a year after, 6 months after, as a watchdog. You are watching. No. You must inspire, that confidence and the financial statement. That's why audit must come from a risk assessment. Where are the major risks? And let's see how we can analyze and focus on the, on the risk assessment. In terms of internal control and evaluation, as well as the compliance aspect of it, should be core of our audit review. If we go to the next slide, I talk about data analysis and data science. Next slide. The data science is very, very key in terms of early identification. So let's go talk about the disruptive innovation and changing role of internal audit, and that's my slide. In 1995, the word, disruptive innovation came into the system through the use of the technology, mobiles, and the likes, which changes the dynamism of transactions. In this case, we have to understand how transactions are done. The data-driven insight is very, very key. So you need to, your audit report that you report every quarter to the board or to the board and risk committee, those ones are things that have been done in the past. You also have to do what we call data science. What is data science? You look at the behavior of that transaction and project into the future. You're telling management, based on the pattern of this behavior of this transaction, this is what we might express in some year, in some months coming. And this we adopted in my previous place in Standard Capital then. Apart from our board audit reporting, where we have done data analysis, we look at data science to tell board, this is things that have happened in the past, but this is things that will go wrong in the future if you do not pay attention to it. That's the role of audits. Role of auditors move beyond staying in the background, coming to that forefront in a combined assurance framework to provide that inspired confidence that is required. This is the value creation aspect that businesses will see and they will applaud audits. So audits should form part of the business while not affecting their independence. Yes, audit is the third line of defense, but coming to the first and second line does not affect our independence for us doing what is right and what is wrong. I will, when with the next slide, when we look at the case that happened in Germany. I'm the Wirecard video. And on this, I sent a mail to the deputy governor of CBN. Then I said, is it not time we look at the role of audit, external and internal? Very key. Part of the role of audit is that there's a 10 years review of what external audit. 10 years is enough. It is enough to make any external audit subjective. So do we want to review this? Because when you look at all this breakdown, if you look at the WebTX failure, if you look at the Wirecard failure, internal audit, external audit cannot say they are not aware of all these issues. It's an indictment on internal audit in itself. So audit must, and it came from the fact that we sat as a third line. Issues have gone wrong and we're not coming to them report. We must be involved. That's what we call the combined assurance framework. The Wirecard issue, weakness of internal control. How come internal audit have not identified it? How come this were not reported to the board? How come board have not taken adequate measures? These are the things we need to do. Internal audit, for us to move on and ensure and we prevent financial crime, we need to move from being a watchdog and move into the business using a data science, data analysis. I'll do a quick analysis of, please, Matthew, as I quick round up. In my days in Stanford, we did some analysis, audits. That audit is a mutual fund, and we use data analysis. Before, transactions were running into hundreds of thousands. Before, people would have picked a sample of 30 and say, oh, based on this 30 sample, the environment is okay. No, when we use data analysis, we saw that 0.64%. And they were talking about materiality that is too small. It's not small because these are real issues. This is the total population. And lo and behold, that 0.64% led to the fraud even down the line. But because it was identified by audits and measures have been put in place, it was spotted on time. Audit must move away from traditional way of auditing, picking samples, use more of data analysis, understand, machine language, be involved from the first line of defense, giving advice. It improves your knowledge in preventing financial crime. And together, in the next few years, financial crime will technically, if not, totally, resolve. It will become a thing of the past. Internal audit role is very, very key in ensuring a sustainable financial system. Thank you.
To